In this screencast, I will demonstrate how to program custom linters about FASTEN models. Linters are executable rules, which ensure that the models satisfy certain conditions. As an example, I will demonstrate the definition of a linter, which checks the compliance of a safety argument to standards. We assume that we have already created models of relevant standards in bibliography root nodes. We also assume that assurance case entities are linked to their corresponding entries in the bibliography via attributes with type standard ref. Creating bibliography models and linking to assurance entities is demonstrated in another screencast. To evaluate the coverage of standard clauses, we need to detect which of the defined clauses are not linked to any entity of the safety case. For doing this, we need to create a special root node by using New Fasten Root Node menu, the Utilities submenu, and then select Checkable Script. We need to set a name and a description which serves as documentation about the intent of the script. Now, we can proceed with the definition of the logic of the script as a small piece of code. We select Generic Check, and then Fasten is providing us a closure where the check can be defined as a combination of Java code and specific language constructs to navigate through models. The input of the closure is the current project. The output can be of several types. For example, a list of strings containing error messages, or list of pairs of strings and nodes, models, or modules. In the case when the result is a pair, the first item is the error message. The second is the object which is erroneous. Let us use the result as list of pairs of strings and nodes. We create this list of results and return it at the end of the closure. Let us write the algorithm in English as Java comments. During Step 1, we identify all clauses of all standards defined in the project. Step 2, we identify all attributes associated to safety case entities used to reference clauses. Step 3, we identify all referenced clauses linked to these attributes. Finally, in Step 4, we create an error for each clause defined in the project, but which is not referenced by any goal structure entity. We can now implement the logic. In order to access the model, we firstly need to use a special construct which defines the scope. In our case, all editable models in the current project. All models in FASTEN are instances of certain meta-model classes called concepts. We need to firstly understand how we can find clauses. Let us go to the model of a clause. We select it in the main editor, and in the inspector window, we will see the corresponding meta-model concept used to instantiate the node. In our case, clause nodes are instances of the concept standard clause. For Step 1, we need to find the instances of the concept standard clause, which are located in the current project. Let us now have a look at how are the clauses referenced via attributes. The attributes are defined in the inspector window, associated to the assurance case entities. In order to open an inspector window on a certain attribute, we need to use the pop-up menu called Inspect Node. We see that the attribute used to reference standard clauses is called Standard and Clause Ref GSN attribute. We can collect all instances of this attribute and save them in a list. By navigating to the concept definition associated to attributes, we see that this attribute has a reference link to the standard clause. The link is called clause. So, in order to see which clauses are referenced, we need to collect the target of the clause link for all previously saved attributes. Finally, we create a for loop over the defined clauses, and for each of them, we check whether it is referenced in some entity. If it is not referenced, we add a new pair to the list of results. The first element of the pair is an error message. The second element is the node where this error is to be attached. In order to run a linter, we firstly need to build the model. Before the first build, the model checker will complain that no class containing the checker could be found. We ignore this now and start the build. During the build process, Java code is generated, compiled, and the class file loaded in the current instance of FASTEN. We can run the checker by simply checking the model where it is contained. The checking results are displayed in the corresponding window. By double-clicking on an error, the associated node is opened in the editor. Let us add a new reference to clause 5.4.2. We can run the checking again, and we notice that we have one error less. We can change the severity of the errors produced by a linter from error to warning or info. Errors can be temporarily tolerated by saving them in a whitelist associated to the linter and configuring the linter to ignore whitelisted findings. If we run the linter again, we will see no new errors. Give this a try in your own workflow and see how it fits. Thank you for watching and see you in the next screencast.